Today, we're talking about adjusting your fears, not eliminating them because they're part of being human, but learning to dance with them instead of letting them run the show. We're going to move through three spaces together, addressing the truth about our fears, adjusting our relationship with them, and applying a fearless mindset for your future self. By the time we're done here, you'll understand that your sensitivity, your fear, and your tender heart, these aren't weaknesses. They're actually your superpowers waiting to be unleashed. Welcome to Adjusting. Welcome to Adjusting, a safe space for candid conversations about mental health and well-being with your host, Justin G. Nelson. Whether you're recovering from trauma, redefining your purpose, managing mental health, or simply craving more authenticity, this show is for you. I hope something resonates with you and helps you on your own personal journey. So sit back, relax, and let's start adjusting. And we're back with the final episode of season 2 of Adjusting Podcast with your host, Justin G. Nelson. This is the season finale, y'all. This is the season finale. Happy Labor Day. I hope that you are resting and taking time for yourself. Thank you to TJ with TJ podcast for editing all 22 episodes this season, even the hiccups. Thank you for sticking with me. Be sure to support his podcast, Tea with TJ, because it's good. Okay. Continue to support me and my other brands. If you like vegan nutrition and things like that, at Earthy and Cultured, my branding and marketing, where I'm going to be doing a deep dive on AI and branding. At Type J Marketing, my creative journey as I journey back to Broadway and TV, journey to Broadway, whatever, and TV and film at Justin G. Nelson. Be sure to subscribe to Substack and my YouTube channel. We are close to 1,000 downloads. That's major. Okay, so between now and when I come back with season 3, like re-listen to some episodes, share it with your friends, help me get these numbers up. Great. Someone on YouTube told me my introduction was too long. Can't please everybody. Okay, great. So this episode, I wanted to leave you all with, we're talking about adjusting your fears. And I want you to take this key thing away. Do it afraid. Do it afraid. Do it unprepared. Do it because you are passionate, not because you are seeking perfection. Okay, that's the overall gist of this episode, but we're going to talk about some details. We're going to talk about addressing the nerves, adjusting, and then applying this so that your future self is thriving and you are operating in a mind of fearlessness and not fearfulness. All right, so let's jump into it. All right, so before we begin, let's center ourselves. Let's do our grounding breath. If you can, if you're driving, focus on the road. If you're not, I ask that you take this sacred breath with me, with the 4-7-8 breathing, and really be intentional about what it is you want to take away from this episode. Okay, so we're going to breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8. Ground your feet, relax your ankles and your calf muscles. Relax your thighs and your hips, your stomach, your chest. Relax your shoulders, roll them back. Relax your neck, your chin, your cheeks, your eyebrows, your forehead. Massage your ears a little bit. Put a hand on your chest and one on your stomach. And we're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let it all out. One more time. Our final sacred breath of the season. And really, really just think about anything that is holding you back. And on that final breath, he's going to let it all out and welcome to the great lock-in. This is what they're calling it on TikTok. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so let's jump in. So I want to set the mood with a few things. This conversation isn't about fear, all right? It's about reclaiming your power. It's about remembering who you are beneath all the trends, the trauma, the expectations, and everything else. Remembering your why, remembering the boundaries, remembering your rules, remembering your who, and honoring your future self. Okay, this is what we're talking about today. So let's acknowledge that being here, choosing to explore your thoughts, being vulnerable with yourself, and all those things mean you care. It means you care about the legacy you're leaving, the impact you have on the people around you in your community. So all those things. And you can't, oh God, you can't operate or expect to receive everything you have if you're being fearful. Because then you're being fearful that what if it all works out? Or what if I lose the people who help me? Those people serve their purpose. And I know that is like one of the most cliche things, like, people are for a season. This is a brave space, okay? This is your safe space. And your sensitivity is honored. You can question your wisdom, and your fear is information, okay? We're going to use fear as information to help you function at a higher vibration. All right, so addressing your fears. I want to start by calling out the two biggest elephants in the room: imposter syndrome and perfectionism. Those two things, I'm glad we have names for it, especially imposter syndrome. Perfectionism has always been a thing, but imposter syndrome, it's that voice that whispers, you're not qualified. Everyone else is doing it, so you don't need to do it. You don't know what you're doing, or you're not experienced enough, so people are going to think you're fake. You're hiding behind the new trend of AI, and it's doing all the work for you. And then perfectionism. Okay, perfectionism. It has this, what's the word? This mask of having like high standards, but it's fear wearing a fancy outfit. It's the voice that says it's not good enough yet, or just one more course, one more certification, lose a little more weight. I need this to be right. Oh, I need some more equipment. I need to move to another city. It's just like all those things that we keep putting in place or thinking we need to have in place in order to move to the next level, when in actuality, the next level is one step away and everything you need will fall in place. Y'all, see, I feel like I'm preaching. I need to shift. Let me shift the conversation. This is not a sermon, okay? But it's like we're always seeking one more dose of approval. And that's where perfectionism is like that toxic thing that we just need to release. It kind of equates to perfectionism, and not perfectionism, capitalism, and the white gaze, and wanting to live up to a standard that is always moving, because we as Black people are typically overqualified for almost everything or every room we step foot in. But because so many people are intimidated by our success, our knowledge, our passion, our looks, our skills, our being, they will always find one more thing to drop into the equation. And hence perfectionism. Like, Black people are perfect. But again, we're addressing the things. So here's what I want you to know. Imposter syndrome is actually a sign that you're growing and that you're stepping into something bigger than your current comfort zone. You are allowed to outgrow your current space. That's why we have adjusting. That is why you are adjusting. Every time you're choosing you over someone else's expectations of you, you're shifting your comfort zone. You're adjusting. It's more than a play on my word. It's a thing. It's like I want it to be a movement. Like I'm adjusting. That's an affirmation. Perfectionism isn't about excellence. It's about control. It's your nervous system trying to keep you safe from rejection, from criticism, and from failure. So I want to talk some more about this not being ready myth. This capitalistic thing that has been said because like, oh, I didn't go to college, so I'm not ready, or I don't have all this experience, so I'm not ready, or I'm not married, so I'm not ready, or I don't weigh this amount of pounds, so I'm not ready. All of that is bullshit. Okay, all of that is fake news. Fake news. Great. So can we bust a myth right here? The myth that successful people, happy people, healed people have it all figured out. One thing I've learned in the 36 years of me living is to never meet your idols. Because them people are just as jacked up as you think you are. 9 times out of 9, they ain't got it all together. They just have enough money, teams, and Photoshop to make it look like they have it all together. Now, this is not to negate the fact that they are human and no one is perfect. And we, as regular people, tend to put celebrities or our mentors on this pedestal when in actuality, they the same as us. They just have a bigger following. And I feel is like one of the downsides of social media. We see people with a blue check mark or a 0.6 million in their following thing. Baby, I work in social media and I can tell you most of them people were bought. They were bought, or hell, I realized at a point when I was cleaning up my following list, a lot of the pages that follow me aren't active anymore. Hell, some of them dead. And I was just like, oh, when did you die? When did you die? So I had to remove them. So like I'm balancing things out. But you already have everything you need right now. Not everything you want, but everything you need in order to grow into the person you want to be. Okay? It makes it easier when you have the things you need because you know how to use those things. The things you want might not serve you. They might hold you back because you then have to, well, I have to learn how to use this. I have to figure out this. I have to, oh, this doesn't work with this, so I have to buy it. It's a ripple effect of procrastination. You don't need that. You don't need that. Things will work out as they should. Your lived experience, your unique perspective, your specific combination of wounds and wisdom, that's not accidental. That's your medicine. That's your secret sauce. Okay, that is what makes you unique and why the content you are procrastinating to post is the very thing that can increase your income. It can make your purpose that much more meaningful. Okay. And that's one thing I had to stop and realize with my branding and marketing. So PSA, as of today, September 1st, I ain't doing no more like freebies or one-offs or can you do me a favor? I ain't doing no more favors. I'm not doing no more favors. I'm not doing no more favors because those favors are not benefiting me. They're benefiting you and your business and your brand. Now, while I'm not in it for the money and I want everyone to have a slice of the pie wasn't made for me, apparently. Okay. So I had to sit back. I had to stop and say, Justin, why did you start what was Nelson Design Lab and now Type J Marketing? And I said, I want to help people put the personality back in branding and marketing, but I also want people to realize their why. Because so many people see a successful brand or entrepreneur or business owner or their mentor and say, I want to do what they're doing. Not realizing how much labor and time and effort goes into it. And then the intentionality behind everything. I think about Regina King. Yes, she lost her son and she was on another podcast. I can't think of his name. He dyed his hair blonde recently. And she was talking about this orange wine she made for her son, Ian, who I believe died by suicide. And again, I got my certification through the Black Soul for the Black Church. I can't think of the name of it, but it's an amazing organization. I'm going back for part 2 in September. But she made this wine as a way to not honor his legacy, but to keep him alive, like keep him at the party, keep his personality at the table. And I was like, see, that is a brand. He loved orange wine. She made an orange wine. The name of the brand is Me and You. It's me, Ian, you. That is intentional. But some of y'all get up here with these things. So I had to go back and say, I need to go back to more case studies and more things to help people understand the significance and the intention that goes behind creating a brand. Okay. All that to say, those are my unique perspectives and my unique things. Everyone else is making branding. Everyone else is giving you social media trends and SEO things and da 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 da. But I had to realize my gifting and my purpose and my potential and what I have to offer to this ever-changing creative industry so that I am not lost in trying to keep up with trends, but I am setting new trends. Be a trendsetter. You can set some trends. Just make sure they, don't harm anybody, because I don't want y'all out here saying, well, Justin told me to set a trend, and so now we take my name off that. But what if the thing you're waiting for permission to do is exactly what someone else needs to see or hear right now? Share your story. You don't need a light. I got one light. I'm using my phone and a microphone. You don't need this microphone sometimes. I do recommend a microphone. But all that to say, you don't need a studio setup. You just need a gift, a passion, intention, purpose, joy, and the love for what you're doing. Okay? You're ready. This is your sign. You're ready. Now, here's something else I've noticed. When we're afraid, we start looking around at what everyone else is doing. We start copying, following trends, trying to fit into boxes that were never meant for us. We are trying to get a seat at a table that is not our table. There is a whole table behind you that is made just for you, that it has more than enough space for you and everything you wanted to create. But you want to sit over there with them? They don't like you. That table was not designed for you at all. That table's too small. The seat is too small. The seat is ugly. It's old, and it's based on white supremacy. Okay? Turn around. Turn around. See the table behind you. Fear makes us think safety is in sameness. But your gift, your creativity, your authentic expression, they're meant to be free. This is why I talked about like adjusting your garden, adjusting your space, adjusting your capacity, nibbling, gorging. Like all those elements and those themes relate to the future you and how you have to address these things in order to set yourself up for success. Your joy and your passion aren't meant to be squeezed into someone else's formula. If you're solving for why, ask yourself, if I'm solving for why am I worried about their opinion, what's going on in their front yard, what they think, what they're doing? Solving for why is basically you minding your own business and figuring out what I'm missing or what I'm holding on to that is keeping me from getting this solution I need. Not no one else's opinion, because I've realized everyone has an opinion. Everyone is either going to give you advice that you didn't ask for, or say, well, I did this and it worked. I ain't asked you. We two totally different people. Okay, so mind your business. Okay, great. So we're going to talk about adjusting your relationship with fear. What if I told you that fear isn't the opposite of courage? What if fear is actually courage asking you for attention? Think about that. Fear is information. It's your system saying, this matters to you. This is information. Pay attention to it wherever it comes up. Okay? When fear creeps in, write it down. What am I fearful about? Is it failing? Failing is great. Failing is amazing. Okay? Think about it. When you're planting something in the garden and you are waiting to reap the harvest of something, but you realize it died off, not knowing it already produced seeds for the next harvest. And when it dies off, if you are into, what's the word? Composting. Composting, stay with me. If you're into composting, the first harvest you reaped that died wasn't a failure. It set up the next amount of seeds or the next harvest to be even more rich because it experienced the downfall, the things that went wrong, but then you learn, it's like, I planted it too early. Oh, I used the wrong soil. Oh, I didn't have a companion plant with this. But see, we only see the failure in the first thing. It's like, I can't do this again. No, do it again. Try again. Try again. Try again. There are two types of fear: protective fear that keeps you physically safe, and limiting fear that keeps you emotionally small. Learning to distinguish between them is life changing. Limiting fear often sounds like, what will people think? I'm not qualified. I might fail. Protective fear sounds like, this doesn't feel aligned. I need more information. My boundaries are being crossed. I'm not being respected. I feel as if I am being taken advantage of and not cared for. So let's talk about embracing the curiosity that comes with fear. On my panel 2 weeks ago, I talked about how a lot of people, when they start their healing journey, there's an element of curiosity that comes with it, and how we have free will to explore and do this curiosity. There's also this trend, and it's amazing how things just line up as I'm preparing to write. And there's this trend this young lady, Elizabeth Jean, started that talks about like a personal curriculum. And I was just like, yes, like you speaking my language. I am forever a student, okay? And I do deep dives. I go all in on a topic, okay? Because there's the library. There is so much information out there that AI really isn't keen to, or we have to protect the history that is being told through like the family. And so this is why I'm always like curious. I talk to my mom or my brother, like, tell me more about this, or tell me more about like my great grandmother, because that history shapes my future. But going back to the personal curriculum, like everyone is being curious about topics. So a lot of people are like curious about holistic nutrition, wars, mental health, like those things. And I want to say, the radical idea is, what if instead of trying to eliminate fear, we got curious about it? Okay, curiosity is fear's antidote. So fear contracts, curiosity expands. Fear closes, curiosity opens. So next time, try this. Next time you feel afraid, instead of thinking, I shouldn't feel this way, try thinking, isn't this interesting? Like, what this actually, is kind of cool, kind of neat. I won't die, but I will come out knowing that I tried this. If it doesn't work for me, I can find another way, if I want to. Curiosity creates space. And in that space, you can choose your response instead of just reacting. Some of the most beautiful art, the music, fashion, stories, everything's just come from being curious about their fears instead of avoiding them. So your future fearless self, I want you to imagine yourself a year from now. I'm doing the great lock-in. So myself 4 months from now is not going to be the same person you know today. I promise you that. Okay, I'm putting that down. I'm declaring today. Okay. You've been practicing moving through fear without curiosity instead of avoidance. This future version of you isn't fearless because they're never afraid. They're fearless because they've learned to feel the fear and act anyway. So each time you face fear, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're building new neural pathways. I love neuroplasticity and rewriting these. I love that. These neural pathways are saying, I can handle uncertainty. I can tolerate discomfort. I can trust myself. Your future self becomes more fearless, not because the world becomes less scary, but because you become more confident in your ability to navigate whatever comes. Whatever can come, all of that. And here's the beautiful part: every fear you face makes space for someone else to face theirs. Your courage gives them permission to try. Okay. One more thing before we talk about applying a fearless mindset. Letting go of perfectionism is a safety strategy. So perfectionism isn't about having high standards again. It's about trying to protect yourself out of criticism, rejection, or failure. Just repeating that, okay? But here's what perfectionism actually does. It keeps your gifts locked away. It keeps your voice quiet. It keeps your impact small. And I know that's not what y'all here to do. I know if you're listening to this podcast and this episode in particular, you want to adjust your fear. You want to be fearless. So let's talk about applying a fearless mindset for your future self. Number one, imagine your life as your highest self. Close your eyes for a moment. My therapist has me do this often. I want you to imagine yourself living as your highest self. The version of you who has learned to dance with fear instead of running from it. You can do a mean two-step with fear, okay? This highest version of you doesn't live without fear. They live beyond the limitations fear used to create. They feel the fear and choose love anyway. They feel the uncertainty and take action anyway. This is why I love a protest, okay? I love a protest because you're standing up for something and you've removed any fear of what could happen because you know what you're doing is right. What does your highest self create? How do they show up for themselves? How do they dress? What cologne do they wear? What do they eat? Who do they hang around? Who do they allow access to themselves? Those are things to think about as you look at your highest self or your future self. Your highest self isn't some distant fantasy. It's literally you in the next 5 minutes. It's you in the next week. Okay? They're the natural result of the small, brave choices you make every single day. Every time you choose curiosity over certainty, courage over comfort, authenticity over approval, you're becoming more aligned with the highest version of yourself. Number two, mindset shifts for a fearless attitude. So shift from I'm not ready to I'm ready to learn. And that was my biggest shift this year. Like, you know what? Talk to Ebony about this and how we weren't taught a lot of things in high school or grade school for the sake of the curriculum or teaching to the white standard, and how so much of African American history was not taught unless we learned about Rosa Parks, Madison J. Walker, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King. And I love something my home church does. Like a lot of churches, Black churches, we tend to talk about like our ancestors or pioneers of the church. But I want to challenge, if you're a Black listener, to read some of the greats like James Baldwin, Toni Morrison, Octavia Butler. Who's another one? It's on my shelf somewhere. My collection is building. I now have over 258 books in my personal library. But I'm challenging myself to read these books. Oh, Bell Hooks is another one that came to mind. But these reading these books and shifting my mindset and me being ready to learn is going to help my future self so much more. So you're more than welcome to take this challenge with me. But also shift from what if I fail to what if this is exactly what's meant to happen. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the path to success. Again, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the path to success. Okay, great. Shift from I don't know what I'm doing to I'm exactly where I need to be to learn what I need to know. You don't have to have all the answers to take the next step. Shift from I'm too sensitive to my sensitivity is my superpower. Your sensitivity lets you know and your nervous system know that you are passionate about what you're doing. It means you give a damn, okay? Shift from everyone has it all figured out to everyone is figuring it out as they go. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be on your personal timeline. Third thing, living from your future self fearlessly. Start making decisions from the perspective of your highest self. Before you make a choice, ask, what would the fearless version of me do here? Your future self doesn't avoid discomfort. They move towards what matters most, even when it's scary. They don't want permission from others, okay? They give themselves permission to be authentic, to take up space, and to share their gifts. They don't perfectionism proof their life. They show up imperfectly and trust that authenticity is enough. They celebrate the journey, not the destination. They find joy in the process of becoming, not just in the achievement. And lastly, practical, fearless living. So start each day asking, how can I honor my highest self today? Maybe it's having a difficult conversation, sharing your work, okay? Make the post, share the post, okay? Setting a boundary, or simply being more gentle with yourself. Embody your highest self right now. Don't wait until you get there. Start being that person today. Walk like them, talk like them, speak like them, eat like them, make choices like them. Do it afraid. Do it afraid. All right? So this fearless mindset isn't about never feeling afraid. It's about feeling afraid and choosing to trust yourself anyway. Your highest self lives in the space between comfort and terror. They live in the sweet spot of growth. Remember, you don't have to become fearless overnight. You just have to become a little more willing to be brave today, more brave than you were yesterday. Every small act of courage, it's you stepping into your highest self. Every time you choose growth over safety, you're becoming who you're meant to be. So that, my friends and foes, concludes season 2. And I hope and pray that over the next few weeks or months, I don't know how long it's going to be, you use this episode as a jumping point to operate as your highest self, your highest fearless self, okay? Your fear is not evidence that you're not ready. It's evidence that you're growing. Your gifts are not meant to stay hidden until you feel completely confident. They're meant to be shared messily, imperfectly, courageously. So get curious about one fear that's been keeping you small. And thank you for taking this journey with me over the past 22 episodes. And I hope to see you in season 3, where we will have some special guests and more conversations about adjusting. So until next time, keep adjusting. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. I hope you take something away to help you make the adjustments you need. Before you go, please take a quick second to share this with someone you care about. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. For more information about adjusting or to inquire about being a guest, head over to adjustingpod.com. Until next time.